So the Nigerian government has announced that former beneficiaries of N-Power scheme can now access job opportunities created for members of the scheme, starting with an agent network in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria. This was released or revealed by the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Hajia Sadiya Umar Farouk, at the 4th annual review of the homegrown school feeding program. The beneficiaries that are eligible are batches A and B of the N-Power scheme. Arise business analyst Chika Mbonu joins us now to discuss these issues. Chika, it's good to have you. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
It's a good Friday. Where do we start from?
Yeah,
let's start from the Fitch ratings on the ways and means and the benefits of, for the benefits of our viewers. What are ways and means? What does it really mean? Who benefits and what are the downsides?
Okay, let me explain it this way. The central bank of each country, the Central Bank of Nigeria, is the banker to the government of Nigeria. Now, just like any institution, a corporate body or the government of Nigeria may have sometimes gaps between its revenues and expenditure, in the sense that it may want to make some expenditures now, but the revenues which come from oil and non-oil revenues may not have come in, and therefore it goes to its banker. Just like you, if your salary has not come in and you have a salary advance, so you actually go to Central Bank of your country, Nigeria in this case, and get an advance. You know, so the ways and means like an advance, temporary overdraft given to the government of a country because of the non-arrival of the revenues when the expenditures are due. And so what happens, just like any temporary overdraft, when the revenues come, it's supposed to clear those advances.
Or your revenues are short.
Yeah, or your revenues are short. But you see, the thing with ways and means, they're not source of financing. They're not source of financing. You must have, if your revenues are short and you must have designated source of financing for that. The ways and means are temporary overdrafts, to enable government tidy over short-term cash flow issues. Are supposed to be cleared actually at the end of the period. Now, you mentioned something in your rundown, which has to do with or the issue that Fitch brought up. It has to do with a weak regulatory environment. The law says that the CBN, Central Bank of Nigeria, cannot give the government more than 5%. The ways and means of overdraft they're going to give the federal government shouldn't be more than 5% of the last year's revenues. Now, let's say in the case of Nigeria, that mass has not added up. Let me just put it that way. So that's basically what it is.
The ways and means had overshot the 5% of the revenue of the previous year. In other words, the central bank is giving more money than it's supposed stipulated to the administration to spend.
Yeah, and then the other thing also, as I said, remember what I said, it's not supposed to be a source of financing. It's not supposed to be permanent. But in this case now, it has become temporarily permanent.
Yes. So this reliance, this concern has been raised now. Why? What's the danger?
Yeah, but let me hold it a little while at the danger. But let me look at the issue. The first thing is this, that the government of the country, remember I said Central Bank is the banker to the government. So revenues are not coming in. Oil prices are low. You know, the non-oil tax revenues are not coming as they're supposed to come in. So it has a request to go to East Bank, this time Central Bank of Nigeria. So it cannot really bounce government checks. Salaries have to be paid. And the revenues are coming in. Central Bank has to acquiesce, has to pay. You know, other bills have to be paid. Revenues are not coming in. Central Bank has to let the federal government overdraw.
Fill the void.
Fill the void. Yeah. So the issue that Fitch brought out there is the fact that, you know, when you don't have, it's like printing of money. And remember, we're also in an inflationary environment. You know, so when you have that kind of situation happening where there's no regulation. Remember, it's supposed to be 5% cap. And in this case now, it's like you in your house, your salary is supposed to come from a rise, but you have this thing in your bedroom that every time you just go and touch, money will come in. You know, you can just go to the do anything you want to do. But the problem that we have in our own situation is that it's for consumption. The wastages are so high.
That's a question. The wastages are so high. What do we use this waste and means?
The wastages are so high. When you hear things like they're using 98 million naira to do, photocopy or do print flyers in NMPC, when you see the charade that is happening in NDDC and other parastatals, and so you pause and wonder why what we're doing this. The weakness of Ways and Means is that it cannot be monitored. And the problem, again, is that it filters into the larger monetary economy and can actually drive inflation up.
Ways and Means are used by other governments around the world. That's a practice, isn't it? It's a standard practice.
I mean, it's a standard practice. As I said, the central bank of every country really is a government bank. And it helps, when the government is short of revenues, the central bank must provide temporary overdraft required to support the government.
So do you think it's possible to reduce it this year, 2021, considering the environment?
Yeah, we're hoping that, do recall, that the major source of oil revenues is oil. Now, oil prices are inching up, hugging between 50 and 60. But also, OPEC quota has drastically reduced our quantum of production. And that may hurt our revenue earnings this year. So as government revenues slide up, it will reduce the overdraft they can take from Central Bank of Nigeria.
So key issue here is revenue.
Revenue.
Mr. President wants technology. He wants this handshake to be very warm between MDAs and FIRS and says, look, the FIRS use technology. There is no room for exemptions in terms of payment of tax. And this is the president coming through with the both hands blazing and says, every MDAs queue up in front of the FIRS. And FIRS should be allowed to have access to the assistance for collection. So,
if you do recall, at the budget session this year, one of the things that happened was that the GOEs, government-owned enterprises, about 50 or plus of them, their budget was brought into the total national budget. Unlike before that, most of them went outside there. Now, so what's happened now is, and remember also the president said that any GOE head who does not meet his target will be fired. Now, so the government, the president is backing up that now, saying, let us use technology. Let FIRS plug into the account systems of these GOEs and make sure that the leakages are plugged. And that's basically what happened. It's all to drive off. Do recall that our revenue, what the major problem for our country is that our tax revenues to GDP is about 8%. In a lot of developed countries have double that or in the early 20s. Yeah. But ours is very low. And that has been a major problem. The fiscal challenges we have is the revenue collection. So this, using the technology, in letting FIRS plug into GOEs is all towards filling that hole and making sure that what comes to the basket of the government at the end of the year is much higher than we used to collect.
Because when we hear hundreds of billions of dollars that the oil companies also, for example, are owing over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years or more down the line, then you find others that are also not paying. Now, the FIRS years ago or a year ago or so said they were deploying new technology which would connect businesses to a central server in order to ensure better tax collection. Do you think the directive from the president changed anything? Is there a follow-up to that?
When you're broke, you tend to look through all your pockets to see whether spare changes or any money.
Even the ones in the laundry.
So basically, what the president is matching his words with action now. We're looking to expand the revenue base of the government outside the oil revenues. And this is basically what we'll know. Because a lot of us who have dealings with a lot of these government-owned enterprises know the kind of, how profligate most of them are. And so this will help in moderating their expenditures and bring more from the revenues they earn and levies and revenues they earn to the government total basket and enhance the earnings of the government.
You have a government agency that collects tax, then you have MDAs. And the same tax agency cannot collect enough adequate, commensurate tax from the same government agency.
But where there's will, there's a way. So this is what's happening now. A lot of them got away with it. If you see the oversight report of the National Assembly sometimes on these government-owned enterprises, you shudder at the kind of things happening. So this initiative by the president will actually help in plugging those loopholes and raise accountability and transparency in the government level.
So the federal government's revenue target for 2020 around 5 trillion. FIRS brought in 4.95. Well, that's about 98% of that target when businesses were affected by the pandemic. Is there more pressure on the FIRS to deliver more revenue in subsequent years? Can they deliver?
This 2021 will be a major challenge for them. I mean, I noticed the the new FIS chairman, I think that's his first year of celebration. I guess he has to push that out there. But we'll see what will happen in this 2021, because this is the major year for the challenge.
I'm not sure if it's first year of celebration. I think it's the first year of hard work, because with the pandemic now, it doesn't look like a celebration time. Chikambono, thank you so much. We appreciate your time this morning, and have a great weekend.
Thank you. You